It's time for the All-Star game from Galloway. We are underway. It's the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference. Barry gives it to Ellett. Here is Ellett. He looks. Ellett keeps it himself, and he goes up and scores for the Arrows. Kirby gives it to Lomax. Here's Jordan Lomax. Has it for Carmel. Lomax looks. Lomax keeps it himself, and he will score. Here's Barry. He has it for the Raiders, and Isaiah Hill from the Terre Haute Arrows will score. Jetta Minette on the Danville Pioneers with it. Back to Baker. No, Minette is not on the Pioneers. No, he's not. Here's Lomax. Lomax for three. Misses. Tipped by Stevenson. How about Jonathan Stevenson? Early season on the Arrows and now on the team, the Racers, the Centerton Racers. Here is Lomax. Lomax looks, gives it to Kirby. Justin Kirby goes up. He slams it in. Ellett is now on a poster. What a dunk by Justin Kirby. He dunks it on the head of Zach Ellett. The league's best players going at it. Here's Kerryon Barry. Barry has it back to Ellett. Zach Ellett looks. Big shot. Now he will put it up. Misses a shot. Here's Baker Lands. Back to Stevenson. Back to Lomax. Lomax passes to Minette. Jetta Minette looks. Here's Lomax once again. Jordan Lomax misses a shot. Gardner Jr. rebound. Pass back to Barry. Kerryon Barry looks. Back to Ellett. Zach Ellett has it. Lampley is out there for the Solar Flares as well. Here's Ellett. Ellett looks. Goes up. He will score. The the Western Conference is up by 2. Lomax has the ball now. Lomax getting covered by Gardner. Lomax looks to shoot. Lomax looks. Lomax there, back to Kirby. Here's Kirby. Kirby keeps it for 2, misses. Stevenson rebound and puts it back up. Jonathan Stevenson will score in the All-Star game. Now here's Gardner Jr. He goes up and will score. The Western Conference is up by 2. Minette is on the Evansville Hawks. Here's Lomax. Back to Stevenson. Stevenson with it. Back to Lomax. To Minette. Back to Lomax. Here's Jordan Lomax with it. Lomax to Stevenson. Stevenson will score. Stevenson will score for the West. Barry now has the ball. Barry back to Ellett. Ellett for 2. He drains the 2. Great shot by Zach Ellett. Now here's Jedediah Minette with it. Timeout East. The Eastern Conference calls a timeout. And we will be back after the break. Here we go. We are back live here in the game. Into the game for the West. Bryce Wren is into the game. How about for the East? Dunbar and Levi Welty is in. Dunbar now with it. Back to Baker Lands. Baker Lands holds the ball. Pass to Kirby. Kirby back to Dunbar. Now it's Welty. Levi Welty back to Baker Lands. Harper Baker Lands for 3. Great shot by HBL. Here's Cap Ellett now. Ellett with it. Pass there. Bryce Wren for three. A lot of the arrows are now in for the West. The Arrows are such a good team. Here's Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar misses a three. Tyler Wren rebound. The Wren brothers are in. Here's Hill. Puts it up. He will score. The West is pulling away. Dunbar with it now. Dunbar looks. Passes to Baker Lands. Baker Lands for two. Baker Lands puts it up for two. Here's Gardner Jr. Pass to Ellett. Zach Ellett looks. There's a Husky coming into the game. Ellett. Pass to Bryce Wren. Bryce Wren for three. It's 18-13. Here's Baker Lands. He has the ball. Back to Kirby. Kirby looks to Welty. Levi Welty for two. Welty for two. Now here's Cap Ellett. Ellett has it. Zach Ellett has the ball. Here we go. Ellett looks. Passes to Wren. It's Tyler Wren. Back to Bryce. Bryce Wren for three. And the West is up by 6. Here's Dunbar. Dunbar with it. Dunbar looks, covered by Ellett. Cooper Dunbar keeps it himself. He will miss it. And the Western Conference is up by 5. Great game. Great showing here in the East versus the West, the All-Star game. Back live, here we go. Ryan gives it to Dunbar. Back live, here's Trey Brown, back to Lomax. Lomax has it. Jordan Lomax misses a shot. Mullins rebound. Back to Laneplate. Here's Kenneth Laneplate for the Solar Flares. Back to Wren. Bryce Wren for three for the Terre Haute Arrows. Dunbar's out there with Brown. Then it's Ryan, Lomax, and Welty. Lomax for two. Here's Kenneth Laneplate. Laneplate there. Aldridge, Keaton Aldridge will miss the three. Here is Lomax. Lomax has it. Looks once again. Wren covering. Back to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar misses a three. Keaton Aldridge rebound. Pass back to Wren. Bryce Wren of the middle. Back to Aldridge. Aldridge back to Wren. It's Tyler Wren. Now it's Kenneth Laneplate for three. Kenneth Laneplate for three. Here's Trey Brown. Timeout West. No, timeout East. Yeah, the Eastern Conference will call the timeout as the Western Conference is pulling away. They're up by 10. Back live here from Galloway, Ohio. The Richard Green Memorial Court. The All-Star Games. We are in the second quarter now of the main game. Here we go, folks. Here's Welty. Looks to give it. He does too. It's Bryant. Christian Bryant with it. Bryant looks. Pass back to Welty. Back to Minette. Minette there. Jenna Minette looks. Back to Welty. Pass to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar misses a three. Tyler Wren rebound. Here's Barry. Back to Mullins. Mullins pass to Barry. Kerryon Barry now on the Raiders of Lafayette. Here's Barry. Goes up. Will score. The last time we were live, it was Terre Haute and Lafayette. Green and Stevenson were on the Arrows. Green is now on the Raiders. Cooper Dunbar will miss a three. Tyler Wren rebound. Dunbar and Stevenson are teammates now at Centerton. Kenneth Lampley for three. Kenneth Lampley going off. And the West is dominating this one. Minette back to Dunbar. Here's Lomax. Back to Welty. Now here's Dunbar again. Cooper Dunbar misses. Brian tried to get it but couldn't. Here's Tyler Wren. Keeps it himself. Goes up. Will score. 34-17. Timeout East. The Eastern Conference calls for their timeout. Lampley and Wren talking it over. There's Green number 99 for Lafayette. Back live here from Galloway. Great game we are seeing here. Who's going to win it? It's all Western Conference. Kirby gives it to Lomax for the East. Green is now back out there for the West. Green covering Lomax. Lomax looks. Green covering. Dunbar drops the ball just a little bit. Here's Dunbar. Dunbar drives it. Covered by Barry. Back to Stevenson. Hand off to Kirby. Now it's Dunbar. Dunbar keeps it himself again. Back to Kirby. Justin Kirby misses. Barry rebounds. Barry back to Green. Back to Lampley. Kenneth Lampley for two. Nick Green with the assist. Kenneth Lampley for two. Minette gives it to Lomax. Jordan Lomax will put it in, and the East will score. Here's Barry. Pass to Ellett. Zach Ellett puts it up for two. And the West is now up almost by 20. Here we go. Lomax for the East. Lomax looks. Covered by Green. Lomax puts it up for two. Green gives it to Ellett. That friendly matchup is going to happen later this year, potentially in the playoffs. How about this? Timeout the Western Conference, 38-21. 38-21. It's the West that has the lead. Jason Gardner Jr. is into the game. Here we go. Green back on the bench. Here's Lampley. Lampley has it. Back to Ellett. Pass back to Gardner. Gardner Jr. has been so good. Here's Barry. Kerryon Barry for three. Barry puts him up by 20. Now here's Jetta Minette. Minette has it. Minette looks. Covered there. Here's Lomax. Jordan Lomax for two. 41-23. Here's Kerryon Barry. Barry has it. Back to Ellett. Zach Ellett has it. Look, he looks to pass. No, he keeps it himself. Almost losing it. Curry covering him. Ellett to Gardner. Gardner Jr. misses. Hill rebound. Back to Barry. Now it's Gardner with it once again. Gardner pass to Barry. Keyon Berry misses. Lomax rebound. Here's Jordan Lomax with the rebound. Lomax looks, and it's a slam dunk. It's Jonathan Stevenson. Here's Berry. Back to Ellett. Zach Ellett misses. Baker Lane's there. Baker Lane's from deep misses a shot. 41-25 is a halftime score here in the All-Star game. It's a Nova Rain halftime show for the All-Star game. Really good game for the East and the West, but it's been all the Western Conference. Keyon Berry, Kenneth Lampley, and others have made so many threes tonight. Kirby's been decent, but how about Kenneth Lampley? A lot of good teams. Bryce Wren, Jordan Lomax are your top performers tonight. The West All-Stars, however, lead it 41-25. Let's send it back out to Galloway. We welcome you back out to the Richard Green Memorial Court. Time for the second half of the All-Star game. Here we go. Keaton Aldridge looks tough here. The shot was good. All these shots are going in. Great shots by Bryce Wren here tonight. Here we go. It's Justin Kirby. Kirby gives it to Baker Lands. Lands back to Minette. Jetta Minette has it. Minette looks. Back to Kirby. Kirby puts it up for two. The East will be on the board first here in the second half. Ellett now has it. The pass from Hill. Ellett runs it in. Back to Lampley. Back to Ellett. Zach Ellett misses. Stevenson rebound. The pass to Lomax. Lomax back to Minette. Jetta Minette has it. Back to Lomax. Lomax has been really good. Here's Jordan Lomax. Covered by Gardner. Back to Minette. Minette goes up, misses. Berry rebound. Pass to Gardner. Back to Lampley. Here's Kenneth Lampley. Back to Berry. Now it's Cap. Zach Ellett to Berry. Keyon Berry misses. Hill rebound. Here's Lampley. Kenneth Lampley for three. Timeout, Eastern Conference. Man, what a play. Hill with the rebound. Lampley for three. Arrows and Solar Flares. Two teams going at it later this year, potentially in the playoffs. But right now, it's the All-Star game. The West, those are teammates at 44-27. Here we go. Kenneth Lampley looking really good this year. Has been really good for the Solar Flares. Now it's Kirby. Pass to Minette. Here's Jetta Minette. Pass to Baker Lands. HBL with it. Baker Lands looks. Ellett with the steal. Ellett steals. Back to Lampley. Pass to Berry. Berry with it. Keyon Berry misses. Justin Kirby rebound. Now here's Baker Lands. Baker Lands with it. For the Plainfield Thunder. He's out there for the Thunder. Baker Lands to Lomax. Jordan Lomax misses. Zach Ellett rebound. Here's Ellett. Pass back to Berry. Berry bounces to Ellett. Zach Ellett goes up. Does not make it. Lomax with it. Lomax pass to Baker Lands. Back to Lomax. Jordan Lomax with it. Lomax looks. Good coverage by Lampley. Now it's Justin Kirby who will miss. Barry with the rebound. Pass back to Garner. Now it's Lampley. Kenneth Lampley for three. The Solar Flares team, it might be nothing without him. Here we go. Baker lands. Has it back to Manette. Manette looks. Back to Lomax. Lomax has it. Jordan Lomax puts it up for two. Timeout, Western Conference. And now we are back live. Here we go.
Substitution on the court.
Lampley, Ellett, Gardner Jr., and Tyler Wren are out there. For the West, for the East, Cooper Dunbar is in for Jenna Manette. Here's Wren giving it to Lampley. Kenneth Lampley has been outstanding. Here is Lampley. He looks. Passer Ellett. Cap Ellett looks. Pass to Wren. Pass to Gardner Jr. Jason Gardner has it. Gardner puts it up for two. 49-29. Now it's Baker lands. He has the ball. To Lomax. Here's Jordan Lomax. Back to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar misses. Isaiah Hill with the rebound. Stevenson was covering. Now it's Gardner with it. Big pass from Hill. Gardner Jr. from deep misses the three. Stevenson to Kirby. Kirby can't get around Gardner. Kirby now keeps it himself. Going around Cap. Back to Dunbar. Dunbar looks. Keeps it himself. Now he gives it to Kirby once again. Justin Kirby misses, and now it's Tyler Wren with the rebound. Wren, Lampley, now it's Hill. Isaiah Hill, back to Wren, back to Lampley. Here's Kenneth Lampley, back to Hill. Isaiah Hill misses, Stevenson rebound. Here's Baker lands. Baker lands back to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar to Lomax. Jordan Lomax misses the shot. Here's Cap Ellett. Ellett to Lampley. And the slam by Tyler Wren. He puts Jordan Lomax in a poster. Here's Cooper Dunbar. Dunbar to Lomax. Lomax getting covered by Wren. Lomax puts it up for two. Still a 20-point game. Here's Kenneth Lampley. He has it. Lampley to Hill. Hill looks. Stevenson covering, but Hill puts it up for two. Nice shot by Isaiah Hill. Now it's Cooper Dunbar. Dunbar keeps it himself. Dunbar takes it. Time is running out. Covered by Lampley. Here's Dunbar to Kirby. Justin Kirby misses. Here's Zach Ellett. Now it's Lampley. Lampley misses a three. 53-31. Here, going into the fourth quarter, in the All Star game. Cskn Nba play in the Western Conference. The All Stars of the West going at it as they are leading by a big margin. Now here we go. Cap Elliott looking to lead the West. Look at the State Farm assist of the game. The dunk by Tyler Rand. The assist from Cskn Nba play. Here's Barry. Barry back to Aldridge. The target score is 77. Time is no more. Hill with it. He goes up and will score. I think the West will easily get 77 points. Here's Dunbar. Dunbar with it. He goes up. Back to Stevenson. Stevenson will score. Jonathan Stevenson for 2. Now it's Keaton Aldridge with it. Aldridge pass to Wren. Bryce Wren back to Aldridge. Aldridge with it. Keaton Aldridge for 2. 20 more points for the West, and they will win this game. Here's Dunbar. Dunbar misses a 3. It's Tyler Wren with the rebound. Wren to Bryce Wren. Bryce Wren now has it. Bryce Wren for 3. The West is pulling away. Now it's Dunbar with it. Pass from Stevenson. Now it's Levi Welty. Back to Dunbar. Here's Cooper Dunbar for 3. He finally makes it. Cooper Dunbar has been good all season. Now it's Bryce Wren back to Barry. The pass back to Wren. Here's Hill. Isaiah Hill misses. Stevenson rebound. Stevenson to Brown. Now to Manette. Back to Dunbar. Dunbar looking to keep it himself. Now Stevenson looked open. Now it's Dunbar. Misses again. Hill to Wren. Back to Barry. Back to Tyler Wren. Tyler Wren keeps it himself. Misses. Now it's Trey Brown for 3. With the rebound. Trey Brown goes up. Misses a 2. Bryce Wren rebound. Wren to Aldridge. Aldridge back to Barry. Here's Kerion Barry. Back to Aldridge to Wren. Bryce Wren misses a 3. Welty rebound. Dunbar with it now. Here's Manette. Back to Stevenson. He will miss. Hill rebound. Isaiah Hill. Back to Barry. Kerion Barry with it. He goes up and will put it in for 2. 62-36. Now it's Dunbar. Back to Welty. Levi Welty back to Dunbar. Pass to Manette. Here's Jetta Manette. He looks back to Welty. Pass to Dunbar again. Now it's Manette. Jetta Manette looks. Pass to Welty. Now it's Manette. Jetta Manette misses a 3. Tyler Wren rebound. Pass to Barry. Now it's Bryce Wren with it. Bryce Wren for 3. Baker lands, looks on. Here we go once again. Dunbar has it. Now it's Welty. Welty to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar misses a 3. Hill with the rebound. Stevenson was covering. Now it's Barry. Back to Wren. Bryce Wren for the corner. Misses a 3. Here's Stevenson now with it. Stevenson has it. Back to Dunbar. Pass to Welty. Welty looking to keep it. No, it's Brown. Trey Brown misses. Isaiah Hill. Rebound. Hill back to Aldridge. Keaton Aldridge misses a three. It's Jonathan Stevenson with it. Now it's Dunbar. Dunbar to Welty. That's to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar misses a three. Tyler Wren rebound. Now it's Isaiah Hill. Now it's Barry. Back to Wren. Kieran Barry to Aldridge. Keaton Aldridge for three. Keaton Aldridge for three. Now it's Cooper Dunbar. Dunbar looks. Is he going to keep it himself? No, it's Stevenson, his teammate. Now it's Welty. The Racers have three guys out there. Here's Dunbar back to Welty. Levi Welty for three. How about Levi Welty with a three-pointer? Here's Barry. Barry looks. Barry back to Hill. Isaiah Hill can't bury it in. Now it's Dunbar. Dunbar with it. Barry covering. Back to Brown. Brown back to Manette. Welty covering Aldridge, but too late. Here's Dunbar. Misses a three. Aldridge rebound. Aldridge back to Hill. Hill looks on. He goes up, misses. Trey Brown, with the rebound. Manette and the dunk. It's Jonathan Stevenson. Jonathan Stevenson with the dunk. Here's Barry. Barry back to Wren. Now it's Bryce Wren. Tyler Wren to Bryce Wren. Bryce Wren now looks back to Hill. Isaiah Hill, covered by Stevenson, will score 7 more points. And the East, and then the West will win. Brown for three. Trey Brown for three. The Racers looking good this year. Same as the Plainfield Thunder and the Terre Haute Arrows. Hill to Barry. Kieran Barry puts it in on Dunbar's head. Here's Cooper Dunbar after being a part of that poster. Dunbar to Brown. Brown to Stevenson. Stevenson looks, misses. Hill on defense with the rebound. Now it's Bryce Wren. Goes up, will score for three. Bryce Wren has 21 tonight. 2 more points would end the game. Cooper Dunbar for three. Cooper Dunbar has been good. Here's Hill. Back to Tyler Wren. Wren back to his brother. Here's Bryce Wren. He looks for three. Game still goes. Stevenson with the rebound. Pass to Manette. Manette looks. Back to Welty. The pass to Brown. Dunbar is open. Stevenson, though, has it back to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar will miss. Now it's Tyler Wren with it. Wren back to Barry. Kieran Barry looks. Back to Wren. Tyler Wren back to his brother. Back. The brothers going at it. And Bryce Wren for three. And that will end the All-Star game. The Western Conference dominate the East. Bryce Wren and the Terre Haute Arrows team leading the West as the West defeat the East. That will do it for tonight's All-Star game. What a game indeed. I think tonight's player of the game has to be Bryce Wren, and that is not even a question.
Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of the MVP. Here to present the trophy is NBA Commissioner Adam Silver.
The All-Star Game MVP is Bryce Wren. Bryce Wren is your All-Star Game MVP. How about that, folks? Wren is the MVP of the All-Star. And no wonder, he's also the player of the game. Really good game by Bryce Wren. The three-pointers We're flying for that guy. Rin dominating tonight for the West, and most importantly, representing the Terre Haute Arrows.